So today in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I make a magnet tab to align your front half and your back half together. So in this example here, I've created that lip in the cross section. So if you want to see how I did that, you can watch the previous tutorial video that I made on how to make that lip there. But in this example, I'm going to show you how to make these actual tabs that click in together. So I've created these tabs right here. The cylindrical piece here is basically like a replica of a 10 by 4 mil magnet. And the other piece, this one here, is basically your tab. And so you use this piece to basically make a Boolean operation to either the front part or the back part of your mask or your helmet. So this piece is also available for download. The link is in the description. Or if you're a Patreon member, you can download it from there. So once you have that, the magnet piece, you go back to your model, and then you would append the magnet tab just like that. So this is the magnet tab in the with the mask. So you want to basically take that magnet piece and basically align it to where you want to add the tab, those magnet tabs. So in this case, just with the transpose tool, making sure it's aligned properly. So facing the right way. In this case, we want the magnet facing outward and just aligning it to a place that kind of makes sense. So if we think about this front piece and the back piece coming together, you want to basically have this tab perpendicular to where the back piece is going to align and go into. So yeah, in this case, just aligning it properly, making sure there's no parts that stick out kind of like that. So just make sure it's sitting nicely. And then once you've done that, you check the back piece. So you make that subtool a Boolean and make sure you have live Boolean turned on so you can see what it looks like when it's Booleaned. And just aligning it so it makes that nice kind of indent in this case. So just making sure, that lines up nicely. There's nothing sticking out, nothing missing. And then again, checking it from the front again. So in this case, it's kind of a little bit off. I like it kind of just a bit more straight. So it's just a little bit of finessing, but it's just to get it sitting nicely. So just here I've just duplicated it. And so in this example, if you put one here, it wouldn't really make sense because as you'll see, if I try to align this back piece to the front piece, it'll be very hard to kind of get them in with these tabs because they're not angled right. So you want to really just angle them straight to where the back piece will fit. So in this case, basically like 90 degrees, 90 degrees perpendicular to both pieces, the front and back piece. So no weird angles and stuff like that, because you're just getting them together will just you'll run into all sorts of trouble. So just keep it simple and just keep them straight, 90 degrees. And again, just checking to see how it booleans, and see there's some parts that aren't booleaned. So you just want to align it nicely, align it so that both sides are just aligned well, and so that they can basically click in together nicely. And just checking from the front again, so you make sure Booleans are turned off in this case. So you're looking at it from what it looks like from the front, on the front piece. So there's quite a lot of finessing, but it's worth your while just doing this and making sure it kind of works. It works well. And so once you're happy with that, all you need to do is do a mirror and weld, so you can mirror it to the other side. And once you've mirrored it to the other side, you want to check the other side as well, because sometimes models aren't exactly symmetrical. So in this case, it's not symmetrical, because if you look, you see how the magnets aren't Boolean nicely on the other side. So that means my model isn't perfectly symmetrical. So just basically going in and masking that side of the magnet tabs, and you could probably do it together, but it's probably best you mask out. You do this one by one, so masking out the third one, and then just just aligning one at a time, one tab at a time. And so just again making sure it's nicely booleaned on the backside. And turning the boolean operation off to see what it looks like from the other side. And then once you've done that, you mask the one that you want to edit and then invert that mask. So you're basically just editing this tab. And again, just lining them up nicely. So making these magnet tabs is basically just the key is really just a Boolean operation. Just got to have that magnet tab the right scale and you should be okay. So right here, just making sure it looks good from both front and back pieces again. And so once you're happy with where they're sitting and how they're aligning, you want to duplicate those magnet tabs because you want one that booleans the back piece and one that merges with the front piece. So in this case, you want these tabs to merge with the front piece. So if you don't have magnets, you can actually still use these tabs, but use them as basically a way to slot them together without magnets. So these parts, right, these cylinders here on the tabs, they will basically slot into where we're booleaning out on the other side. And so with these cylinders, we want to cut them at a certain angle so that when you slide them in, it slides in easier. And then once those cylinders slot into the other side where the holes are on the back piece, then it'll hold nicely together. So as you'll see, I've gone ahead and split these cylinders into its own subtool, and now I'm slicing it at an angle, at a certain angle. So as you can see, it's at a certain angle so that when the back piece slides in, it'll slide in nicely. There'll be nothing blocking. And then once it passes a certain point, those cylinder pieces that at an angle will slot nicely into the holes on the other side. So now I'm just going in, using my slice curve, going in. You can use the knife tool in this case as well, but in this case I use the slice curve, slicing it at a nice angle. And just do it to all your other pieces. So and now that they're all at a certain angle, we just want to isolate what we want and delete hidden. And then we want to just close the holes. So now you've got these cylinder pieces sliced at a nice angle so that the other side will fit in nicely and slot into those holes on the other side. And so now I'm just duplicating those tabs as another subtool. One is for a boolean to the back piece, and one is to be merged with the front piece, which I just did. And so now we make sure that resolution is set high and we dynamesh it. And the other piece, we want to run a Boolean operation. So make sure it's set to Boolean, and then we want to go make Boolean mesh. And so here's the newly Booleaned mesh. And just check it to see if that it all worked out nicely. And now just run a Dynamesh operation. Make sure the resolution is set high because you want to retain all those details. And now jumping back to our other tool, we just go ahead and delete those previous subtools that we had. And we want to append that newly created Boolean back piece that we just created and Dynameshed. So this front piece now has the tabs merged together. It's Dynameshed nicely. And as you can see, the other subtool, the back piece, it's Booleaned nicely, it's Dynameshed. And so these two pieces will fit together nicely. They'll slot in nicely. They'll get to a certain point where those tabs will just click in and it'll fit securely without any magnets in this particular instance. So what I will show you guys now is how to actually make it so that we can fit physical 10 by 2 mil magnets in them. So just undoing, we went back to where the cylinders aren't part of the mesh anymore, aren't Dynameshed with the mesh with the front piece anymore. And then we isolate those cylindrical pieces and we split hidden, so they're in their own subtool. And it's as simply as just running another Boolean operation to the front piece. So those cylindrical pieces will be the Boolean now, and basically they will become the slots to slot in your 10 by 2 mil magnets. So hitting make Boolean mesh. And now you just want to run another Dynamesh to make the geometry just unified. And heading back to our old tool, delete what we don't need. So deleting the magnets and the front piece, the old front piece, and appending that newly Boolean front piece. So now you've got two pieces with holes so that you can slot in those 10 by 2 magnets on both sides now. So that's pretty much it. So these tabs are available for download on our Patreon or in the link in the description. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.